Thanks very much for clicking on the video link. This is an idle chat for the American Bar Association Section 4 Dispute Resolution. My name is Natalie. My guest, Steve Lancken, is in Sydney, Australia, and we are going to have an idle chat. How are you, Steve?
I'm very well today, Natalie. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing quite well too. Thanks very much. I know that for you in Sydney, you're headed into winter. You have big plans for the winter?
Um, I'm going to Singapore where it's warm for a week. I've just done some traveling, Natalie. I traveled up into central Australia to the desert, which I really love. And I feel blessed to have been up there, even though it rained and I couldn't go out on the track across the Unadata track. If you can say that, you're fantastic. But I got to fly across a lake in the middle of Australia called Lake Eyre, which is only has water in it once every 25 years or so. And so that was very special.
Now that is pretty cool. Aren't we lucky that we get to travel?
I am so privileged. Yeah.
We are. All right. So, Steve, let's have a little bit of an idle chat to let people get to know who you are. First question is, what is a small thing that just makes you really happy?
Natalie, I think random acts of kindness make me really happy. As an example, I was sitting in a pub in the middle of Australia. It was a mining town, and I had left my credit card in the car and I'd ordered my food and I didn't have the credit card. And I said, I'll go to my car to get my credit card. And when I came back, the waiter said, that man over there has paid your bill. And this is the toughest town that I've probably ever been in, and it just brought a huge smile to my face. So I had to go. I didn't have to. I went over to see this man in his high vis suit, and we had a chat, and that really made me smile.
Small things make big differences, don't they?
They do. If you pay for if you pay for somebody's coffee when they're standing behind you in the queue, you're going to make them happy for the rest of the day.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Those little human moments of connection are heartwarming. Steve, my next question is, when you have folks over for a barbecue, a dinner, a party, a get together of any sort, do you have a signature dish that you make for your guests?
My guest would say I do. They'd say I just throw some meat on the barbecue. But I have been experimenting since I've become sort of not working so hard. I like to make curries now and stews, especially it's winter now, right? So you throw a whole bunch of stuff into a slow cooker and leave it for 3 or 4 hours, and that's a meal. It's fantastic for my friends, and they're getting used to that. I've been fishing. Last year, I went fishing to the Barrier Reef, and we caught a lot of coral trout. And so now my friends are getting used to me boring them with many different ways to eat coral trout. Um, Actually, they're not bored. They love coral trout. It's beautiful, beautiful white fish that you catch on the Barrier Reef.
Sounds like your house is the place to go if you're hungry.
Well, I like to eat, so I guess so.
We all like to, well, that's not true. Most of us really like to eat, and we really appreciate people that take time to cook thoughtfully for us. Um, do you remember the very first album, tape, or CD that you bought with your very own money?
Well, this is embarrassing. You shouldn't have asked that question.
You don't have to answer it. I
No,
always
no, no, no. I'm happy to answer. It's a funny story. And people who are watching this aren't going to know. So there's a very famous Australian singer now called John Farnham. And when I was 13 or 14, he was Johnny Farnham. He was just a young performer. And he recorded a song called Sadie the Cleaning Lady. Look it up on Spotify. And that was the first record I ever bought. But the sad part was that somehow I lost it before I got home. And my mother had to buy me another one because I was crying.
oh,
Anyway, it was at a time when being a fan of Johnny Farnham was a sign of immaturity. And then he became very famous as an artist, and his last album, I think, was called The Voice. Some people didn't like that either, but he's a very well-known performer in Australia. He used to sing at the football, all that sort of stuff. And my son is a great fan. Now, I wouldn't do this, but my son bought a ticket in the front row to see John Farnham perform The Voice. So, like father, like son, I guess, except his taste is a bit more mature than mine.
Wow. We always hope that our kids are better, smarter than we are. But Johnny Farner, I'll
I've,
have to look him up.
well, my hope has actually come to fruition. My son is much smarter and cleverer than I am, and better looking. That's not a high bar.
I think you're lovely. Steve, what is the most beautiful place that you've ever seen in person?
Oh, in person. Natalie, I don't like those sorts of questions. So there you go. Because the most beautiful place is too hard. I have been to some of the most beautiful places on earth in this country, and I am so privileged. So the Kimberley in northwestern Australia is a huge mining resource, but also has some of the most interesting and exciting environments and rocks and deserts. That's a beautiful place. But if you go to the Kimberley coast, then you have this absolutely amazingly beautiful water landscape. Or if you go to the south coast of Australia and you go to a beach called Cactus Beach, you see the most beautiful waves with young men and old men. There's nobody in the middle. There's young people and there's old people surfing. There are so many beautiful places I've been to. I wouldn't like anybody to get disappointed because I didn't get their first choice, but I'm just so privileged, and there are so many beautiful places to see. There's just not enough time to see them all.
Boy, that's true, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um, are you by any chance a fan of documentaries?
some. Yeah, I do like history and politics, and when they come together, then that's really interesting. So I could watch a documentary on Gandhi or Martin Luther King or JFK or uh, provided it had some factual basis and was telling me a story about what those people achieved and why we think they're fantastic.
I absolutely agree. I'm a big fan of documentaries. Steve, next question. Um, is there a hobby that you have always wanted to try, just haven't picked it up yet?
No, because if there's a hobby that I want to try, I try it. And sometimes I'm really bad at it. I tried to when I was a kid, I played the flute and I tried to start playing the flute again, but my mouth muscles weren't very good. No, if I went for the first time to play pickleball on a Sunday night. Um, I fell over twice, but I survived, so I might play it again because it was there and I thought that could be fun. So no, I think if there's a hobby that I want to, I'm still working on bridge though. I need to, I need to work a bit more about how you do this bidding thing in bridge, but I'll get there.
I love it. If there's something you're interested in, you just go for it. Good for you. Nicely done, sir.
Life is too short to have regrets, Natalie.
No doubt about it. Uh, here's a really personal question.
Okay.
If you minimize the Zoom screen that you and I are using at the moment, how many tabs do you have open on your browser?
None.
None. Unheard of, sir.
Well, if you the more browsers you open, the more it interferes with your bandwidth, the worse my voice sounds in your video. So I turn them off when I do Zoom calls.
Oh, very thoughtful.
Because
I appreciate that.
you don't
All
want to
right.
have the little thing spinning in the middle of the screen all the time.
This is true. This is true.
If you'd asked me before I got on this call, it would have been about 7. Is that
I
a
don't
good
know
or
what the
bad?
average is. Oh, I don't know what the average is, but I think that's very reasonable. I have
Oh,
open, yeah, about the same amount. I think that's just our
I hate to
normal.
be I hate to be normal and average. Maybe I should have less or more.
Then let me say that 7 is remarkable.
Oh, that's great. I like that answer.
All right. Uh, Steve, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be something my father didn't want me to be because he
Which
wanted
is
me to study Latin at school, and I hated that. So I had to do something that he didn't want me to be. When I was growing up, before I decided to become a lawyer, I think I saw myself as being a doctor like my father, but I grew out of that. Um, when I was really little, I had the same fantasies as everybody else, being a fireman. I really didn't think about it too much until I got to be about 16. Um, and then I knew that I could go to university, and then it was a question of, well, what would satisfy me? And I think that was being a lawyer. I
all
was
right.
wrong, but anyway.
So you're a recovering lawyer.
Yes, I've been recovering now for 27 years, and my therapist says another 27 and I'll be fine.
That's all you need then.
Mm. I need to
All
live till I'm
right.
about 93.
That's all right.
I'll try.
Very doable. What's the best advice that you ever got about your career?
The best advice I ever got was when I decided didn't want to be a lawyer anymore and told my partners that I was quitting. I had nothing in my mind. Sorry, that's not right. I was searching in my mind what I was going to do to feed my family and pay the school fees. And somebody said to me, Steve, don't chase. Your next career will come to you. And when it comes to you, you'll know it's the right one.
And is
And
that how you landed in the resolution
mediation.
industry?
Yeah, that's how I became a mediator.
All right. I like
So
that
I
origin
wanted to
story.
do something while I was working out what I was going to do, and I kept going back to being a mediator and doing neutral work. That was the
It's
best
good.
advice I ever got, was to not chase something.
I think that's really, really good advice.
Mm,
Yeah, the organic growth
yep.
strategy. I like that a lot. What do you like most about the work that you do as a neutral, or the work that we do as the resolution industry?
Um, Same sort of thing as asking me what's the best place I've been to, because there's lots of things that I enjoy. Some of them are very selfish. I
That's
like that
okay.
I can be semi-retired and still do work 2 or 3 days a week. I like that I can say no to people. So they're the selfish things. I like that I only have to do the work that I like. Um, I think probably I should have been a doctor or a vet. I do like the sense that sometimes, not always, but sometimes I help people. Sometimes at the end of what I do, people say, gee, thanks for listening to me. Thanks for helping me sort this out. That's a weight off my mind. I can get on with my life. That's the fun bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
like
is.
that I get to meet a different set of people every day. That's great too. I have a very short attention span, so lucky I get to meet somebody new every day.
But I think that that you get to do, I mean, essentially the same process every time, but it's a different case, different people, different personalities, different situations, facts. So it is not repetitive work, and that it is rewarding for the parties and for you. That's a really lovely existence that you've created for yourself.
Sometimes it's rewarding. Sometimes it's just hard work, as you know, Natalie. But you know, we nobody could do fun things every day. If we did things that were fun every day, you wouldn't call it work. You'd call it a hobby.
That's right. But sometimes it's the hard that makes it so valuable.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Steve, if somebody wanted to learn more about you and the kinds of cases that you like, or the work that you do, or just wanted to reach out to you as a resource for mediation or neutral work, what's the best way for people to find you in Sydney?
Uh, Two easy ways: LinkedIn, Stephen, Lancken. There's not many of us who are mediators, or my website, which is negocio, negocio.com.au. Now you've got to ask me what negotiate means. Or do you speak Spanish?
My Spanish is really pedestrian, so you tell me what it means.
So's mine. But negocio means business in Spanish, and the mix between, you know, the sense of negotiating and business was what I did. What I do still.
Perfect. Steve, thank you so much for having an idle chat with me. I really appreciate your time is limited and you chose to spend some of it with me.
My pleasure.